What? What? This is Kneon. This is Clownfish TV, and this is absolutely ridiculous. Russell T Davies just keeps digging himself a deeper hole with every time he opens his mouth. When it comes to Doctor Who, right? We're going to talk about a couple of things he said that are just baffling, absolutely baffling. According to Doctor Who TV.co.uk, Russell T Davies wanted Doctor Who to move away from very straight, masculine, and testosterone-y science fiction. What? Like, New Who has not been very straight, masculine, and testosterone-y since its very beginning. But now it's just beyond parody, right? We're going to talk about this. We're going to look at this. We're going to look at some other dumb stuff he has said. Apparently, he put Billy Piper in Doctor Who, but he doesn't even know Billy Piper is actually the Doctor. I don't think anybody knows what's going on with this show. I don't think the BBC knows what's going on with this show. I don't know if we're going to see more Doctor Who. If we do see more Doctor Who, if we're going to see it anytime soon. I know the BBC's in bad shape. They're starting to paywall content in America. They want America to pay for British news now. And, they're having all kinds of issues, I guess, with their TV tax over there. I don't know. Not my problem. Not Disney's problem. I don't think Disney's going to pay for this stuff anymore. They certainly can't afford it right now either. So let's talk about this. Let's take a look at all the Doctor Who news, which I've been avoiding for the last couple of weeks. And man, we got Peter Davidson coming out and saying that the show's kind of crazy right now. We're going to talk about the streaming future of Doctor Who. I guess I'll just take a look at the last couple of stories on this website because, this is probably one of the best Doctor Who websites out there, and they're really scraping the bottom right now because there's not a lot of Doctor Who news, and it's almost all bad. I'm going to be honest, it's almost all bad. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to news.clownfishtv.com, news.clownfishtv.com. Rather than give the BBC your money, you can give it to us. We'll take it. $5 a month, you get some exclusive podcast content that is not available on YouTube. We're not going to make that stuff available on YouTube, not doing the memberships over here anymore. I think we need to build off platform just in case. We don't know how things are going to go. But check it out, news.clownfishtv.com. All right, so let's see here. Look at these stories. Look at these headlines from Doctor Who TV.co.uk. Russell T Davies wanted Doctor Who to move away from very straight, masculine, and testosterone science fiction. Russell T Davies has no idea Billy Piper is actually the next Doctor. Let's see, Doctor Who's streaming future. Who could step in if the Disney deal is dead? Probably Amazon or Netflix or somebody. Peter Davidson. Current Doctor has huge narrative gaps and risks prioritizing effects over story. Wow. Crazy. So let's look at this one. This is the one that caught my attention. It's been making rounds on Twitter. Russell T Davies wants Doctor Who to move away from very straight, masculine, and testosterone-y science fiction. I never really thought of Matt Smith as being testosterone-y. Did you? Certainly not David Tennant. Reflecting on his recent work with Doctor Who, showrunner Russell T Davies revealed that one of his driving goals since taking the reins was to steer the show away from what he called very straight, very masculine, very testosterone-y science fiction. Speaking in an interview with Your Manchester, Davies responded to a comment suggesting the show had properly tapped into the LGBT side this time around. Yes, and the viewership dropped off a cliff. I'm sorry, it did. It did. It's terrible. The worst in 60 years, the worst viewership in 60 years. I think it was just like nudging the 1% in that direction, nudging by 1% in that direction. No, but it's 2025, and you also have to look at what the others are doing. Science fiction franchises are very straight, very masculine, very testosterone-y. And so that's where Doctor Who can fill a space. So he's flat out saying this is the demographic for science fiction right now. Let's do the opposite of that, which normally, maybe, I guess, but the audience for Doctor Who is, I don't know if they're very straight, very masculine, very testosterone-y, but when you think of science fiction fans, especially fans of older franchises, they do tend to be older dudes. Let's be honest. That is the majority. I'm not saying it's everybody, because now I'm going to get people in the comments be like, "Yo, you made a a sweeping generalization," and it's like, no. I'm just saying, Star Trek fans, Star Wars fans, Doctor Who fans. There's a certain demographic. There's a reason that the neck beard is a trope, right? That the gray beard is a trope. That's most of your audience, right? And when you tell those people, in the case of Doctor Who, though, it's also families. So it's like families and older dudes for the most part, and you chase them away. You told them to go touch grass. You didn't want them. So who's left, right? I mean, weren't they out there saying? I guess it was the person that played the maestro. I can't remember. Jinkies. I don't know. Whatever. Jinkies. Jinkies said that for every straight person that left, like 5 more diverse people were going to take their place. And it's like, I don't think that's how that works. And they thought the same thing was going to happen with comics, and they thought the same thing was going to happen with video games. And now we're seeing, no, that's not actually what's going on. For a lot of these legacy IP, you chase the core audience off, and there is no replacement, right? Because this thing does not appeal to a new generation. And I think that's what they're trying. They said before they were trying to get the TikTok generation to watch Doctor Who. They wanted musical numbers to be TikTokable. In fact, it's really cringy. They had what the hell was it? The America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, whatever show they had, singing contest. And it was the stupid little alien that was it Dugadoo? Was that what it was called? Dugadoo. Yeah, whatever. They were running that as a live stream on the Doctor Who YouTube channel for like 2 weeks, trying to get people to watch a stupid Dugadoo thing and make it happen. And like nobody gave a shit. Like they were obviously trying to make something that was going to go viral, but it's like, yeah, just people don't care. Right? Today's kids, the TikTok kids, they don't care about your stinky old Doctor Who. Even if he's black, gay, and wears a dress, they don't care. Davies stated that he doesn't consider Doctor Who a children's show. It's perfectly safe for children to watch, but it's like a family show, like a Pixar film. Then why would you go all in on agenda there, Russell? I'm just saying. He added that he sets clear internal boundaries for tone, saying, I have rules on it. They're quite strict, like no blood. You can have laser beams. You can have death, but not blood bursting out of people. Actually, some of the stuff is more disturbing, I think, than blood. The Slovene, they were kind of gross. They're like the baby face lizard guys that were inside a people suit. I think that's kind of disturbing. So yeah. Toward the end of the interview, Davies was also asked about Billy Piper's role and dodged that question. So here we go. This is the continuation. During a recent interview with your Manchester, when asked directly on Piper's role, Davies simply shrugged, I have no idea. The interviewer followed up by suggesting she'd make a very good doctor, though, wouldn't she? To which Davies replied, that's clever. You should work in PR. In the past, such a comment might have been dismissed as typical Russell T Davies misdirection, but in 2025, amid increasing uncertainty over Doctor Who's future, it carries greater weight. If Davies genuinely has no idea what Piper's appearance means, the more pressing question is why such a pivotal moment was included at all without a clear path forward. Okay, so the rumor, and I don't know if this has been confirmed yet, I don't know if we're going to get confirmation on this. The rumor is that Billy Piper was included as a Hail Mary pass to get Disney interested in picking the show up again for another season. Like, oh, we got another mystery. We're going to bring Billy Piper back this time. I'm like, if you couldn't get people back with David Tennant, you're not going to get them back with Billy Piper. I'm just saying. And I think the goal, if that played out, whether or not she's actually the doctor or a spin-off doctor, I mean, technically, is Ncuti Gatwa even the doctor? He's like a spin-off doctor, right? Because he did that bi-generation crap. But there's a David Tennant version of the doctor out there, and they got the Billy Piper version of whatever Ncuti Gatwa was or she is or whatever. And would they like ship them together so they have to like merge together into a new doctor? That'd be freaking weird, man. Like, yeah, I'm just going to fuck myself and turn into the 16th Doctor. How's that sound? It's like, wow, okay. Yeah, multiple reports suggest Disney's withdrawing its co-production role, raising questions about the show's long-term funding and global distribution. Yeah, geez, I hate to say Clownfish was right, but we did say early on when the ratings were coming in and you didn't hear anything about it from Disney, you didn't hear anything about it from Parrot Analytics, you didn't hear anything about from Samba TV, which means they're probably pretty abysmal on Disney Plus. That Disney's they're not gonna pay for more of this. They don't even own it, right? They're cutting stuff they own. They're cutting Marvel and Star Wars, and they own that. They purged freaking Willow off the platform, and you think they're going to keep Doctor Who? They're going to keep paying for Doctor Who? Personally, I'd rather see them throw some more money at the Orville. I mean, if you're going to spend money on science fiction, spend some money on something you own, right? Anyway, Doctor Who's streaming future. Who could step in if the Disney deal's dead? Netflix. They said it's the most obvious choice. Amazon Prime. And that's what I've heard. I've heard they're courting other potential partners, Amazon Prime being one of them. Rings of Power. So, yeah. So we've got James Bond, the Rings of Power. James Bond's probably going to be DOA too. The Rings of Power was DOA. But they do have The Boys, Gen V. I don't know. Fallout, I guess, is okay. People said it was okay. I haven't watched it yet. People said it wasn't bad. It just kind of like there's a lot of brouhaha around it, and then it just kind of came out and everybody stopped talking about it. I mean, it's a streaming show, right? All these streaming shows are basically the same. There's a lot of buzz for like a week, and then the show drops, and then everybody forgets it exists. It said HBO Max has the streaming rights to Doctor Who 2005 through 2022. That deal's said to expire soon. They could maybe bankroll more Doctor Who. They have worked. See, that's the thing. HBO is working with the BBC in some capacity. They did His Dark Materials, and I know I keep talking that show up, but I thought it was really good. I thought it was done really well. And this is coming from a fan of the books. I thought it was handled very well. They're also doing Harry Potter. Would they want to do Doctor Who? I don't know. Do they have the money to do Doctor Who? I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of crazy. I mean, I still think Apple TV, I don't think they would want to do it though. I don't think they would want to do it. I would like to see Doctor Who, if they wouldn't completely reboot it, at least kind of put some space between, this era, which is awful, and whatever comes next. And I would like to see a darker, more adult Doctor Who. I'd like to see a Doctor Who that goes back to kind of the horror elements of, Tom Baker's run and just being like legitimately scary, X-Files style. I think I've talked about before. I would like a legitimately scary Doctor Who. Not that it's, not family friendly, but I'm thinking the vein of like X-Files or something where it really, especially now, horror is like really, really big with kids. I mean, you can brush right up against it. You can go into PG-13 territory. And I would also like it to like not have every freaking villain be an alien. Like maybe we just have some stuff that's just completely unexplainable. But yeah, I would like to see kind of smaller stories with a horror bent, and the Doctor's just kind of always shows up at just the right or wrong time to deal with it. Nobody really knows where he comes from. We don't have to get into that. You don't have to get into the Time Lords and all that stuff for a while. We could just kind of have him kick around in the TARDIS and, solve a Scooby-Doo mystery or something. Go back in the TARDIS and move on. I don't know. I would kind of like to see that Doctor Who, but I'm not in charge. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to get more silliness like this if it gets renewed. I don't know. They really got to rethink it though, and they got to get Russell T Davies out of here. They got to get this guy out of here. And I never thought I would say that. I mean, I was for years. I was like, man, if only they would bring RTD back. And wow, wouldn't it be cool if they got Murray Gold to come back? Wouldn't it be awesome? I know it's kind of a bit of fan wank, but wouldn't it be really awesome to have like David Tennant come back or something? Yeah, and they did it, and it's like, wow, that was terrible. Don't do that again. Just don't do that again. I don't know. There we go, guys. Too much testosterone in Doctor Who. Gonna wrap it up again. Go out to news.clownfishtv.com for more news, podcasts, and all sorts of stuff out there. We talk about more than just Doctor Who. Whatever's on our mind, we'll talk to you guys later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.